My pitch is to the teachers at the school where I'm currently working during a professional development session this summer. I work at a school called KIPP DuBois Collegiate Academy. It's a charter school in West Philadelphia. We serve a population that is 85% economically disadvantaged, and 100% of our students are students of color. So this presentation is launching a new program for the 1920 school year to combat the issue of chronic absenteeism. Again now. So I want you to think about a student that is chronically absent, or that was chronically absent last year. What this means is that they missed at least 18 days of school last year. Now, you may not know those specific numbers off the top of your heads, but think about a student that you know misses a lot of school. I want you to take a few seconds to think about and to answer these questions for that student. What do you think might be possible for this student if they could significantly improve their attendance? What might they be able to achieve this year and beyond? So I want you to keep those questions in your mind as we go throughout this session. So today we're going to talk about chronic absenteeism. Chronic absenteeism is a national crisis. It has its most detrimental effects in high poverty schools like ours that serve mostly students of color. So according to the U.S. Department of Education's Office of Civil Rights, nationwide more than 6.8 million students, or 14% of all students, are chronically absent. So why does this matter? Well, research has shown, and it's consistently found, that chronic absenteeism is among the strongest predictors of dropping out of high school. It's stronger than suspensions, it's stronger than test scores, it's stronger than students being overage for their grade, and that's even after having controlled for demographics and backgrounds. So let's think about how this affects us specifically. Well, in the 18-19 school year, 35% of our students at KIPP DuBois were chronically absent. 182 students that missed 18 or more school days. 182 students. So our goal for this year is to decrease this by at least 10 percentage points. Now, this is a feasible goal, and hopefully we can surpass it, but it's essential that we make movement on reducing our chronically absent rate because of what this means for our students and for their futures. So in order to combat this, what we're going to do is we're going to work on intervening with students who were chronically absent last year. We're going to continue our whole school interventions just like we did last year. However, we can see that based on the data from last year, the whole school interventions, things like making phone calls home from the main office, sending some of those letters home, that wasn't enough. So this year we're launching a program that's going to help us hit the ground running and intervening at the beginning of the year with students who were chronically absent last year. So this program is going to have interventions that are based off a program called Success Mentors that took place in New York City a few years ago. The way that program works is that students who were chronically absent were partnered with a mentor that worked with them to improve their attendance. So the mentors would begin the day by greeting their mentee and saying that they were happy to see them. If they weren't at school, they'd call home and say that they were missed and that they wanted to see them back in school as soon as possible. They also work to identify root causes behind absences, which we'll talk more about as we go throughout these sessions. And they help problem solve issues like transportation and motivation. So we're going to target this year for the 1920 school year students who had between 20 and 40 unexcused absences last year. And then we will also bring in anyone that has 10 unexcused absent this year in 1920 as of November 1st. At the end of this session, you're going to receive your mentee and you're going to talk with them throughout the year about what's keeping them from coming to school and how we can work on that. But for now, the most important thing is for you to start the process of building a relationship with your mentee, which we'll talk about as we close. But before that, I want you to stop and to think back on the student that you thought of earlier who was chronically absent last year. I want you to think about what their year is going to look like this year when we're able to effectively intervene. I want you to think about what it will take from us collectively to decrease the number of days that this student is absent. So now you're going to receive a document that's got your assigned mentee or mentees, and we're going to have time at the end of the session right now for you to call your mentee to introduce yourself and discuss that you're going to be working on them this year. As I talked about earlier, the primary goal of this conversation right now is just to start building that relationship. So you're going to tell them that you're going to be working with them throughout the school year and that you're excited to see them on August 22nd on the first day of school. We've seen how important it is to ensure that our students are in school every day, and I'm excited to work with you all on reducing chronic absenteeism here at KDCA this year. I can't wait to see the progress that we're going to make collectively as a school. So we currently have 15 minutes left in this session, so you can go ahead and start making those calls now.